As soon as the special arrest warrant for Secretary Huong was approved by the authorities, the entire police force was mobilized in an unprecedented large-scale manhunt. The operation plan was urgently drafted overnight, and by dawn the following day, the units had already taken up critical positions. Their objective: capture the suspected fugitives, with Huong as the key figure linked to a shocking classified information leak. However, the situation quickly spiraled out of control. Huong and her two close accomplices, Lap and Lone, had moved swiftly to a remote border region between two northern mountainous provinces, an area notorious for its towering mountain ranges, deep valleys, and near impenetrable terrain. Poor communication signals, treacherous paths, and unpredictable weather turned the pursuit into a nerve-wracking chase deep within the forest. Captain Ha, a veteran of investigations and forest terrain operations, was immediately assigned to lead a special reconnaissance team. Based on clues from highway surveillance footage and testimonies from locals at a highland market, where three strangers had recently purchased large quantities of supplies, the authorities pinpointed the group's location to the Cam Phong mountain region. The only paths into this area were known mainly to locals or illegal loggers. Riddled with sheer cliffs, deep ravines, and dense bamboo forests, specialized vehicles halted at an abandoned ranger station. The police force split into two teams, carrying only essential gear for an extended pursuit: handguns, encrypted radios, dried rations, medical kits, and detailed topographical maps provided by the military. Their mission: track down even the slightest traces, flattened grass, muddy footprints, or broken twigs, all potential signs of the fugitives' route. As they advanced deeper into the forest, the reconnaissance team discovered a large tire mark in the damp soil, a clear indication that a special vehicle had transported supplies into the jungle. This suggested that Huong's group either had external support or had meticulously planned for a prolonged escape. Under a dense canopy, officers also found partially burned papers, likely documents destroyed before they left the area. Meanwhile, not far from there, hidden in a narrow ravine where sunlight barely reached, Huong, Lap, and Lone were sheltered inside a camouflaged tent covered in dry leaves. Huong's face was pale, her eyes constantly fixed on a small satellite phone, now turned off to avoid detection. She knew their time was running out. The police's premature discovery of the situation had shattered their plan for a safe 48-hour head start. "We need to move before nightfall," Lap said in a low, tense voice while scanning the treetops with a compact pair of binoculars. "They're in the forest faster than we expected." Lone nodded, clutching her survival gear backpack. The three knew all too well. Getting cornered in the forest was no different than walking into a death trap. By late afternoon, the second team found fresh footprints near a small stream. The ripples in the water were still moving, proof that someone had passed by recently. Nearby, an empty instant noodle wrapper, a used fire pit, and still warm ashes all confirmed Huong's group was close. The intelligence was quickly relayed to the command center. Lieutenant Colonel Men immediately deployed reinforcements from the mountain's base and set up a control perimeter within a 10-kilometer radius. Every trail, ravine, and hidden path was marked and manned. Meanwhile, the third team, while approaching a dense southern sector, unexpectedly spotted movement, 2 individuals, each with a large backpack, cautiously navigating along a rocky ridge. Without revealing their presence, a skilled officer stealthily attached a tracking device to Lone's bag while she paused to collect water. From that moment on, their entire route was monitored in real time from the command center. The deeper they went, the more treacherous the terrain became. Vines draped across the path, tree roots jutted like hidden traps, and thick fog reduced visibility to mere meters. As night fell, Huong's group split to confuse their pursuers. Lap and Lone followed an old trail leading uphill, while Huong alone crept through the bamboo forest toward an eastern rendezvous point where a hidden motorbike awaited in a low-lying field. But what they didn't know was that the sky had eyes. A drone had been deployed, flying low under the canopy, scanning for heat signatures. On the control monitor, 3 heat traces appeared in a triangular formation, confirming the presence of 3 human targets. One of them wore a gray jacket, matching the last known image of Huong before she vanished. "Prepare to surround Sector G4-221. All units move south. Do not let the target breach the perimeter." The cold command rang out. At that moment, Huong was less than 500 meters from the rendezvous point. Yet, a sense of danger crept through her with every breath. She stopped, glanced around. The wind whispered through the bamboo. No phone signal, no contact from her team. Alone and suffocated by anxiety, fear began to invade the mind of the once diligent secretary. Special forces had reached the target zone. Using infrared lights, they scanned every bush and leaf blanket. Each squad moved silently, coordinated only by hand signals and flashes of light. Even the faintest sound could cause the entire team to halt. All eyes fixated on a single point. In a low valley where an old logging camp once stood, Huong crept along a dry streambed. She chose the coldest hour, when body temperature was lowest, to reduce the risk of thermal detection. But her plan began to crumble as the thickening fog reflected heat more intensely. And footprints on the damp ground betrayed her trail. Behind her, Lap and Lone kept pace from a safe distance, unaware that the backpack they carried had become a live target. Their every step was traced on a digital map, and every move was tracked in real time by the tactical unit. More than 20 hours after the manhunt began, the endgame was in motion. At exactly 2 a.m., the special forces closed in for the final encirclement. A soft rustle in the bushes, and then the forest exploded with the glare of high-powered flashlights. The shout, "Freeze! Police!" echoed through the woods. A figure darted into the dark. Infrared beams locked on.